Well, living so close to the west coast of Wales here, and the amount of wind we get here is a fair amount. So looking at all the aspects, I thought a wind turbine would fit in very well here on the farm.
We were approached by the company that decreed that there was sufficient wind on this farm, or blowing over this farm, I should say, to install a turbine.
We've been looking at renewable energy and how to save costs around the farm. And literally I went through every single specification of the turbines available, spoke to all of the technical guys within the companies, and settled on the Aircon as the quietest that we could go for.
It started a few years ago when we saw brochures coming about advertising, wind turbines and generating your own electricity, and of course creating an income, which must be a plus to any farmer today who's looking at alternative income to the farm.
We chose Lely Aircon because the product has no gears, and to me that is an advantage, because anything complicated is worse than something simple, and I think something without gears, such as this product, fits the bill.
This is a very long-term investment. We're talking about 20 years with a feed-in tariff, and you have to be sure when you buy something that it's going to last. And I think with all the investigations I made, and I think with Lely now joining in, you can feel confident you've got a huge organisation backing up the promises that were made initially.
Well, fine, I think. As you can see outside there, it blends in well with the countryside here. Although, of course, there is always an issue when you build something like this with the planners. They tend to object because they think it's a scar on the landscape.
I think a lot of people make an issue of these turbines, whereas they should make an issue with nuclear energy.
Well, as you can see, there's no problems at all. There's no noise. You can hardly hear it.
Actually, when you're working in home or working on the farm, you don't see it, you don't hear it. It's very quiet.
A friend of mine called the other day, and I said, "Have you seen our turbine?" as he was leaving. And he said, "What turbine?"
Our windy weather starts now for the next 3 months. And so the same period last year when it had first been installed, we had no problems at all, and we had very strong winds.
Even when we have the biggest storms coming in from the sea, we have no problems at all.
Well, of course, once it's paid for itself, which I hope will be within 5 to 6 years, if it pays for it less, all the better, because then it'll create an income which must be a source for the family here to carry on farming on the farm.
If you do your sums right, and you've got the right average wind speeds, it will still make sense.
So far, it's been a very good success story. Our electricity consumption has dropped dramatically, but we'll have to wait for another few months so that the year is up before we can make a printout of the total economy.
The neighbours have been very interested. 2 or 3 have been up already to take a look at it, and I think they're showing a big interest to do something similar within the next year or 2, I'm sure.
I am seriously considering installing another turbine on this farm.